Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day of hassling my hustle, man. Another episode of Trucking and Common Sense. So, one of the things this I was reading one of my emails this morning. One of my this broker told told my dispatcher that they don't pay for deadhead miles. Okay, that's cool. But so you to tell me, and for those of you who's not understanding where my truck is at, and if I have to travel 60 miles away to pick up your load, I understand. Yeah, that's on me. Now, that rate should have been, in my mind, that's how it's not should have been. Is there's no regulation in it. So, in my mind, if that load is paying 500 from where your load is picking up at to where it's going, but I have to go from 60 miles or 50 miles or 20 miles, whatever. Yes, the object in dispatching is you always want to find a load close as possible to where your truck is at to minimize deadhead miles because they're only paying you or attempting to pay you on loaded miles. So, but I don't know what the word I should use. The gumption, I should say, the fortitude, I should say, that this broker gonna reply in the email talking about we don't pay empty miles. Okay, that's fine. I'm not asking you to give me a set rate for my empty miles. She used that in a conversation. Hey, we have a truck that's 50 miles away, and I guess that's the negotiating tactic. Look, I got the truck 50 miles away, and you offering to pay, let's say 500 on that load. I'm gonna need 550. But for the fact that the broker gonna come back and said we don't pay deadhead miles or whatever, meaning that, and more or less that's them saying like, I don't give a fuck what you got to go through. I don't give a damn what you got to go through. You got to come 100 miles away or whatever. That's on you. Okay, that's cool. But in my rate, whatever stature, whatever different variables I put in it, that it comes up to my negotiating tactic with you. Yeah, you're right. So whether I said that, or whether she said that, or whether we say that as dispatchers or whatever, and you say what you say as a broker. But the thing about it is, brokers have too much options out here, because again, and options lead to a lot of trucks, all right? But it's not just the fact that a lot of trucks. We all could, America is not slowing down. There's not freight not to be moved, or there's not too much freight, or there's not too little freight. It's freight to be moved. But what it is now, like I'm telling you, truck owners and stuff, I think my conversation is more so towards the dispatchers and truck owners and stuff. And there's nothing wrong with if you as a truck driver right now who's listening to this, who have not elevated yourself to that yet. But again, this is what's ahead of you. So it's not a disrespect thing to say, hey, you ain't there yet, so I'm not talking to you. This is what's ahead of you. This is for what you should know. This is for you, the person that just bought you a truck, and this driver that, man, I've been driving trucks for 20 years. Let me drive for you or whatever. Again, my conversation or this platform is more or less talking about the business of trucking. The business of trucking, where you as a truck driver probably don't know what the insurance is on that truck. You don't keep up with the amount of fuel that truck have to pay for or have to use every week. So you don't keep up with the IFTA taxes. You don't even know. You probably don't know, if those of you who don't know, you don't know the fuel tax that we have to pay every quarter. You don't know what the fee for the 2290 is. You don't know what the cost of the plate is that we have to pay for every quarter. I mean every year. Your plate is annually, 2290 is annually, is an annual thing. Your IFTA tax is a quarterly thing, and insurance, of course, it's some of us we have annual premiums, or some of us we have 6-month premiums and stuff. It depends on the insurance coverage that you get that particular year. So again, those things might go past you right now. But if you have aspirations for owning your own truck and all that kind of stuff one day, and it still needs you still need to be aware of that. as far as what it takes, right? To what's ahead of you, because again, this platform is for other like-minded or other people that are in at this level where you're dispatching multiple trucks and owning trucks, and you've been invested in the trucking business for many years or what have you. Like such as myself and some of y'all, some people out there that might be watching this might be in it longer than I have. But the thing about it is, I'm asking y'all to help me as I'm helping you, so we helping each other to put this platform together, and let's educate the mind of other dispatchers and truck owners and stuff, because the way it is now and stuff, we all complaining. We all seem to have the same complaint, but no one's doing anything about it. And it's not to say that I'm some maverick or whatever, man, but at the end of the day, we could all complain about it every, and it just goes around in a circle. But if we're not like-minded thought process, there's nothing going to be done. And the cost of operating your trucks, whether you're a truck owner, you might have 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 trucks, and you're a driver that you have aspirations to get your first one, because once you get your first truck, you get your authority, guess what? You're on your way. Depends how ambitious you are, or how can you be ambitious if the rates that's out here right now continue to exist. Like I said in one of my last videos, that I got a rate confirmation from 2010. It's 15 years later, and they're paying you the same amount of revenue that you would go from Atlanta to Chattanooga about. But yet everything in the store, or everything that around trucking or transportation costs, has been doubled, quadrupled. I don't know what's the word for 5 times. Anything, everything cost has went up. So, let me get back to my point here, man. This broker tells my dispatcher, yeah, we don't pay for deadhead miles. Okay, I understand that, but if I want the load and I'm willing to travel 50 miles, or depending on where my truck is at, and that's the key thing in trucking too and stuff, man. Some of these dispatchers, to be a good dispatcher and stuff, you have to know the lay of the land, so to speak. You have to know where you're going to be able to get loads out of, so therefore you would have an idea whether you want to take this load into a particular area, because the key to success in dispatching is having a ping pong effect. I'm not going to take a load to a desert area where there's no freight coming out of. What sense does that make? You know what I mean? You have to play the ping pong effect. Load it this way, reload it that way. You know what I mean? You load it this way, you reload it that way. It's the same thing. It's only common sense. That's why some of these people that come out here and talk about box truck Willie or box truck Charlie telling you how to you get a box truck and stuff, and you're only limiting yourself, and you just running all over the place in your what is that, expedite van or whatever, and you just running crazy and stuff. There's no sense of what's the word, consistency in a particular area. And that's how you make it, you know what I mean? You have to be consistent where your truck is running in a particular lane, whether it's from Raleigh to Charlotte, Charlotte to Raleigh, Louisiana, New Orleans to Beaufort, Beaumont. I'm just naming sporadic cities over Birmingham to Montgomery, Montgomery back to Birmingham. So you have a lot of consistency there, right? So that's one of the keys how you become successful in dispatching and stuff. And therefore you have customers or brokers that in Alabama, they have customers over here. You have Montgomery, whether it's Atlanta to Augusta, Atlanta to Greenville to Atlanta. And that's how you establish relationships and all that. But anyway, picking up this load, the broker tells you that, oh, we don't pay for deadhead miles. I understand that. But again, brokers have the gumption, the fortitude, I should say, or the cojones to tell you, hey, we don't care what you have to go through. If you want this load, take it. If not, Leroy over here is going to take it. And Leroy going to do it for cheap. And Leroy got to come 2 hours away. Well, when Leroy got to pay for his deadhead fuel, your truck still got to run on fuel. Again, so whether or not you use that in your negotiating tactic or whatever, That's simply a you thing, but at the end of the day, they still have to respect what rate and stop moving cheap freight, man. The whole thing about trucking, man. I've never heard a trucking company that say that we doing this as a non-profit trucking business. I've never heard that shit. Everything is for profit out here. Everything is, you're a common carrier. You're moving loads. We're in a transportation business. We cannot move cheap freight. All right. Dry van freight again. Let me write this down. Let me write this down on a piece of paper, man. Dry van freight. $4.25 per mile. Reefer. $4.50 per mile. What's the other one? Flatbed. $4.50 to $4.75. That's the minimum. I'm not saying that you can't get more for that. By all means, supply and demand plays a part. A sense of urgency plays a part in your rate, whatever. Hey, if you need to get this load over there to satisfy your customer, I'm quite sure if you're a smart broker or you're a smart business person, paying an extra $100 or extra $200 on a rate per mile, which you should know that you're going to make it up in volume on down the road because you're going to continue to get more freight from this customer. So sometimes you have to give more than what you're getting right now with the foresight of you're going to get more freight on down the road. That's what a mindset of a broker should be. So at the end of the day, where I tell you I need, hey, a straight through load is a different rate than what a rate that I would have normally have done a load from Atlanta to Birmingham for. You want me to dedicate my truck for you today to pick up this load in Atlanta at 12 o'clock, and you need me to have my truck in Birmingham by 4 o'clock. Okay, that's fine. We could do that. But then, I'm also factoring, which is the broker is not factoring, the time it's going to take to load my truck, my travel time in between. And let's say I load my truck and I leave it. We leave Atlanta by 12, and we get there by 4. Travel time included. We get there by 4. But guess what? The broker is happy. The receiver is happy. The shipper is happy because he made his customer happy. But what about you? You're the truck driver. So now you're in Alabama at 4 p.m. in the day. There's no reload for your truck. So now you're losing now. Because now your truck have to sit there overnight. The driver is not moving, but you're paying your driver. Or if you run your trucks local like me, that driver, I sold him or her on the fact that she's going to be home every day, or he's going to be home every day. So now I deliver the load at 4 p.m. in Alabama, but there's no loads to be picked up by then, or I could not have booked a load that said that's going to pick up that late in the evening. That's like finding a needle in a haystack. Right? So now I have to deadhead my truck back to Atlanta. What about the time it took to going from Atlanta to Birmingham? What about the fuel it took from going from Atlanta to Birmingham? What about the time that I have to pay my driver to drive my truck safely from Atlanta to Birmingham? Now I have to duplicate that, come back from Birmingham to Atlanta, whether it's fuel, tire wear, driver pay, wear and tear on my truck. So again, a straight through load cannot pay the same rate as it would. Like, let's say for example, if I normally get $600 to go from Atlanta to Birmingham, and I get there, my truck my truck gets emptied out. Now I'm stuck. So I just made the broker happy, the shipper happy, the receiver happy, and of course the driver gets paid because he's on the clock. So everybody's happy except me and my truck. Me and my truck have not gotten fed. We haven't got compensated. So in dispatching, so you have to consider all of that. And when you negotiating your rates, oh, here's my little sign right here. Here's my little sign right here. Van freight, minimum of $4.25 per mile. Reefer freight, minimum of $4.50 per mile. And you say, well, what's the difference between a reefer and a van? Some of you, again, you're being paid to haul the freight, but what about that extra expense that you have to incur, especially living in the South, right? You're in the South. Reefer, I used to have reefer trailers. And one of the reasons I got out of reefer trailers, amongst others, is the fact that it's 90 degrees out here in the summertime. If I pick up ice cream, I don't want to deliver a milkshake. So that reefer freight that reefer unit have to be constantly running to keep that ice cream at 0 degrees, -10, and it's 90 degrees outside, son. So you're gonna pick up ice cream, and if your reefer breaks down, or again, your reefer have to run continuously to keep that frozen ice cream that we take in a Kroger, or we take into Publix, or we take into Piggly Wiggly, or we take into Winn-Dixie, whatever the supermarket, whatever the food distribution center is. Or you picking up a load of produce, right? You're picking up corn. They're gonna throw some ice over your corn and try to keep it cool, because some of y'all don't know, if you don't keep that corn cool, it could generate heat and it could burn your trailer down. I've seen videos of that in the past. So it never happens to me. It has not happened to me in the past. But again, you have to have, reefer freight, they're paying you cents per mile, again, and that's PC mile, and that's another topic or whatever. Air miles doesn't tell you exactly driving miles. Air miles is from zip code to zip code. Those of you who don't know what PC miles is, so again, but in the Bible Belt, man, there is no freight moving. There is no freight moving at 4 p.m. or whatever, if it hasn't already been booked already. So now I just went from here to there, a straight through load. Now I'm coming back empty. So did I really go to Birmingham for 600 if that was the case? No, my straight through rates have to be different, because I have to be compensated to bring my truck back. It's no care of the broker or the customer or whatever, but you have to put that in your negotiating rate. And at the same time, that goes back to, we don't pay deadhead miles. Okay, we don't pay deadhead miles. Guess what? If I want it bad enough, or if I realize that the load is in the direction of where I'm going to pick up I have to come back this way anyway, then I have to use that to book that load. But for a broker to say that they don't pay deadhead miles and they don't give a damn about you as far as what you want for your load, then at the end of the day, you have to have the balls to say, hey man, it's my truck. Either I choose to move it or I choose not to move it. You call somebody else. But the thing about it is, this is where, when you call someone else, we have the power in our hands as carriers or what have you. But if you don't understand the business of trucking, you're gonna be running cheap freight out here. And the carriers that they use to haul cheap freight, when the trucks break down, just like I told you the other day, man, I bought this little screws and washers and gaskets, turbocharger, $3,000 or what have you, right? And all that. How are you supposed to fix your truck? How are you supposed to operate your truck? How are you supposed to get your truck back up and running? How is your truck supposed to be available to, how are you supposed to handle your overhead? How's your insurance going to be paid? You're running cheap freight. You cannot afford to run cheap freight, and brokers need to be aware of that. They're making the most profit out of this transportation link right here. The brokers, when it comes to the final mile thing, where it's going from where we pick up the load at to where we're delivering the load at, the brokers and stuff, as much as we could have a little sympathy for them and say, oh, it's very competitive out here. Well, it's just as competitive for us as well as carriers and truck owners. So we have to understand, this is what the mindset of them, and we all out here need to be on our similar thought process. We need to be on a similar thought process of making sure that we don't run cheap freight Dry van freight need to be nothing less than 4.25. Reefer freight need to be nothing less than minimum of $4.50 a mile. Flatbed $4.50 to $4.75. You guys got a tarp chain the freight down. Think about every 2 hours the law tells you. I mean, it's not the law, not just the law, but common sense tell you, you got to stop and pull off and check the freight, retorque your tightness down on your ropes and everything. I used to pull cars back in the day. And the same thing, just because you tie something down, that don't mean you're going down the road, the freight might not shift, it does not shift a little bit. And what chains don't really shift. Well, when I used to pull cars, we had chains on, whether it's the different kind of hooks and stuff once you torque it down or whatever. But that broker told my dispatcher this morning that they don't pay for deadhead miles. Okay, I understand that. But guess what? The rate that I'm going to tell you that I need, I mean, it doesn't matter how I break it down, as long as I know what I need to go in my truck. I need this rate for my truck to be productive. You need this load to ship to your customer for you to be productive. We got to give it a little, right? You got to understand my cost. Now, and then again, it's not my cost that you need to understand. I can't tell you. I can't go in the broker's office and tell them that they need to pay the other brokers in their X amount. Your light bill should not be more than this. Your computer system should not be more than this. I can't go there. So how could you come tell me what I should be sufficing? What should be suffice for me? What is $2 a mile? Right? I think in one of my videos, does $2 a mile make sense? Hey, this is dumb, stupid, idiotic, and all the other words that don't mean to disrespect anyone, but this is ridiculous, man. So again, as we doing a call to action right now, if you like this video, it's educational to you, and I hope my rambling was not too out of view or off the topic or what have you, because I feel like sometimes I'm talking to an educated set of people in trucking, but then there's another set of people that also need to be brought up to level, I should say, right? So don't run cheap freight. Understand, the more dispatchers and truck owners we all start thinking on the same, that's the way we're going to bring the rate of trucking up. Okay, we all have to be on that similar thought process. And I'm not the gatekeeper of that. I'm not the one that's out here saying that that these rates should be this. But if you as a truck owner, if you as a dispatcher, if you're getting compensated based on the loads that you're booking, you have to know dispatch, you have to know the lay of the land or what have you, then the costs affect all of us. Okay, my trucks run on diesel and DEF fluid, I should say, right? Top tires, it takes insurance to be on the road legally. All right, even though I have dry van freight, it's still, trailers have to be paid for, insurance have to be paid for. So my call to action is, you like this video, I'm going to continue making some more. I bought me a bell, man. Well, I don't have the bell with me, but I bought a bell. I'm ringing the bell on trucking, man. I'm sounding the alarm, right? So again, you like the video, share it with someone, put some comments in there, because I'm going to read the comments. I'm going to know, am I the only one thinking like that? I don't want to be the Martin Luther King. I don't want to be the Malcolm X. I don't want to be the only activist out here, man, in this world that's in this field of profession that we all chose. I don't want to be the only one, right? I hate to think that. I would hate to think I'm the only one, bro. Come on, man. We all out here in transportation. We all out here to run this business that we're all in. That's why you're looking at this video. We're all out here to make a profit so we could pay the light bill, not over here, but the light bill at home. We all have overhead that we need to take care of. So share the video, leave a comment, tell me you like it by hitting the likes button or whatever. I'm not just out here doing this for because I don't have anything else to do, man. I'm trying to help people in the trucking business so they too can help me. So I'm helping you so you can help me. It takes two hands to clap out here. One hand clapping All you're doing is fanning in the wind. All right, you're doing this motion right here. You take two hands to clap. We as truck owners and dispatchers and future truck owners, if you're a driver right now, if you're a driver and you get this video, send it to your boss, man. Send it to your boss, send it to your dispatcher. Let's spread the word. You know, at the end of the day, this profession that we chose to be in trucking is dwindling, and new people are coming in, but new people are getting taken advantage of because you don't know the verbiage, you don't know the cost of operating your trucks. And yes, you have ambition to buy your truck. There's nothing wrong with that. I commend that. I was one of those new people who come into trucking and had to learn the business as well. But the business have not been, the education of the business have not been pushed down the road as much as more people come into the trucking business. The education of the business have not been amplified, so therefore people that are coming into this trucking business need to be educated on what goes on. You know what I mean? Some of you people out there thinking big trucks make big money or whatever, which is a farce. But then the second part of that sentence is big trucks cost a lot of money. Okay? A tractor trailer gets 6 miles to a gallon. You're like, wait a minute. How is diesel and the price of gas about the same price? My car getting 20 to 25 miles per gallon, whatever car you have or whatever, right? And you telling me an 18-wheeler that's paying the same amount for a diesel, which of course, and let me just touch on this real quick, diesel is not your only cost of operating, but the cost of diesel is right there with the price of gas. That car gets 25 miles to a gallon, an 18-wheeler getting 5 and 6. And depending on how heavy that load is, that 5 and 6 miles per gallon is going to be dropping to 5 and 4, maybe 3 and 4. So you're going down the road getting, you know, again, like I said in one of my other conversations with you, man, if the weight of the load is heavy, then the price of the load has to be heavy. But again, you know, that's just some other topics I'm going back in my head on. But definitely, let's share this with other people so we could all be. I don't care if you have family in Chicago or family in Kalamazoo, Michigan, or whatever. We all need to be on the same page. We all need to be on the same thought process of moving our freight. You have family in Rhode Island, Maine, or I don't know, the whole 50 states, whatever. It's not a separate rate for states in the Southeast or whatever. This is trucking. You know what I mean? I'm pointing to my map, the whole 50 states of this great country, the U.S. of A., the way that the land that gives people like myself opportunities to make something as opposed to waiting for somebody to give us something. So I chose to make something in the world of trucking. And other people might choose to make something in the world of medicine, being a lawyer, whatever. But this is the field that I speak on. This is the field that I'm in. And there's a lot of people that's coming in here that your aspirations is to be commended, but at the end of the day, know the business of trucking, know the cost of operating your truck. And we as truck drivers right now, in the past 2 years, this is the worst that has ever been. The saturation of trucks on the road, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's enough freight. Hey, first come, first serve, you get it. But if I'm doing it for 6, don't come in and do it for $3.50, and then you realize like, yo, you know, this dude made sense the other day. This dude that I was listening to, I thought he was just some guy that has a truck and he's sitting there at his desk rambling, but it makes sense, right? So now you're gonna tell somebody what you used to do or what you had, but it ain't about what you used to do or what you had. It's about you being able to maintain what you have. You know, so I want you to maintain what you had. I started this in 2006. I've maintained it for a long time. But with the people that's coming in and no one's educating our fellow trucker, our fellow dispatcher, then it's going to be something that you stick your toes into. You realize you can't make it because you don't fully know the whole scope of the business. And now you're going to tell somebody what you used to do or where you a has-been or whatever. I was and this and that. But at the end of the day, let's be on that same thought process. Please share this video with someone that you know in trucking. I mean, trucking is a popular profession. Somebody in your family, some friend of yours, cousin. Pookie's your cousin. I know you know a Pookie or a Ray Ray. All right? Because I have a Pookie in my cousin. I have a Pookie that's one of my cousins' name is Pookie. So that's why I kind of make that joke a little bit. But anyway, share it with someone. Share it with a dispatcher. You're a driver. You have aspirations to own your own truck one day. Keep following this, so when you do get your truck, when you do get your authority and you want to be that shot caller, you know what the right shots to call. Okay? You have to know what the right shots to call. You want to be a shot caller. You can't be a shot caller and you're shooting blanks because you don't know. You're not going to last in the gunfight too long. You know what I mean? You know, someone over there firing off AK at you and you over there with a little 22. It ain't going to work like that, son. So you want to be a shot caller, know what shots to call. Understand the business of trucking is not just holding the steering wheel like some of my drivers. Oh man, I've been doing this for 20 years, man. Okay, but you came and knocked on my door for a job. Go figure, right? So the business of trucking and truck driving are two different things. And I'm talking to the truck owners, the dispatchers. We all have to be on that like-minded thought process. Stop hauling cheap freight. Anti-cheap freight. Okay? Anti-cheap freight. Inflation is going up in the stores for my wife and your husband and cousin and kids or whatever, but the cost of trucking has not, the rate of the transportation of goods is not elevating. It has not elevated in 15 years, at least from what I know from that reference that I gave you. The 15 year ago rate, it's still the same. They're still trying to pay you $500 to go from Chattanooga to from Atlanta to Chattanooga, or vice versa, or from Raleigh to Charlotte, or from Charlotte to Raleigh, or Greensboro, if you're in the Carolinas, whatever state you're in, man. We got to be on a like-minded thought process. Until next time, man. Post the video or share the video. Put in your comments. Give us your likes. Give us your thoughts about it. If it suits you, I would like to know. The few of you who've called me personally or I sent this to, I appreciate your feedback, but put the feedback in the comments and stuff, because other people are reading the comments. Let other people know that we're sharing the same views. We're in the same trenches right now. We're in the same battle, and we're all losing. Okay, so share the video, put a comment in, tell us what you like, how this relates to you or your thoughts. Like-minded, iron need to sharpen iron, you know what I mean? All those good cliches and everything like that. So, Batman out.